Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you are new, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. This is not a Marvel Snap video. This is going to be something a little bit more different. I'm trying to experiment to see if I like doing these type of videos because I get asked quite a bit, like, how do I do my beard stuff? Like, what's the process behind it? Why does it take so long? And so I'm going to try to do a breakdown to the best of my ability to show you the process of abridging. All right. So we have our whole video here. It is cut down. It's already made. It's already published. It's on my Rumble channel if you want to see it. But the I still have the file here to show like the amount of work it takes to do an abridged series. Also, it's not even the full track. Um, I could probably zoom it out. It looks a little bit more like this, like that. All this. This is all the audio. There's so much audio. Oh my goodness. So I did this in about 3 days. Unironically, this video took 3 days. 3 days to make, 2 days to edit, 1 day to scripts, and also within those days, voice acting on top of it. I did this very quickly, and I'm kind of glad that it happened quickly because it was a episode that was just Jinwoo and the system and a snake. That was it. There's only 3 voice actors required. The snake only had 1 line. It was relatively simple to do. It was just Jinwoo in the system the whole episode with extra audio for like the creatures or whatever. So I was able to knock this out quite fast. I'm voicing Jinwoo. My buddy Joy Boy is voicing the system. He does a fantastic job. And my job as the lead abridged creator is to develop a script and then implement that script into the video and do the sounds, voice the main character, check all the other voice actors' audio quality, lines, make sure they're not missing anything, and put the whole thing together. It's a lot of process, and it takes a lot of time. Though once you get the hang of it, you can get pretty fast at it because like the editing part is just something that takes like skill over time. When I first started this, I was not good at it, but I quickly developed the skills to do this really efficiently, and I built my own style off of it with Filmora. There are other platforms you can use to do your editing software. I just like Filmora. It's the easiest one for me to use. Also, it's the one I have. So all this is audio, voice, music, sound effects, anything that has to do audio is down here in these tracks. This is the image on the right. You can kind of see how I cut it, what the scene is, what's happening in the scene. The script's off the. I don't have the script pulled up. It doesn't really matter. The script's off to the side usually. That way I can follow my own script. Keynotes, whatever it is, just important stuff to follow. If you're the editor, it's very important to put notes. That way you know where you're editing. That way you don't get lost. Like if it's a brand new scene, write it down like above the next scene, like what the scene is. All your voice lines, their emotions. I also send video clips to my voice actors if they need them to help them do whatever scene it is they're doing. If it's more intense or emotional or whatever it is, I provide those scenes to those voice actors if they need them. Some of my voice actors that I have on the team don't even need them. They're just naturally talented and do a really good job. But putting it all together is it, it can be overwhelming because it takes a lot of patience, and a lot of times patience is like the biggest thing because you have to wait for everyone to do their lines and send it in and then put it all together. So this all here on this left side right here, this is all just either a videos for the scenes, audio files, and that's essentially it. It's just everything for this. It's all putting it together, right? So, um, so yeah. Also, sound effects are very helpful. If you have a good ear, you can kind of pick up what they're using, and you have to get pretty inventive with it or innovative with it sometimes because it's not as simple as like, oh, this is just a sword grinding into something. You might have to get a little bit more creative than that to find what you're actually looking for when it comes to unique sounds. So let's go to the end here because it's so good, and I'll try to see like if I'm able to get away with playing some scenes here. Maybe I can get away with it. We'll see. So, so we have Jinwoo here. He's pretty mad, and he has a really cool moment with a flashback. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for where is it at? There's a really unique scene, scream. I want to do my scream scenes first. All right, this one. So he jumps up and he has a really cool scream, and then bam, he attaches himself to the snake, right? So when it comes to doing the actual audio itself, some people use Audacity. I use my own little app that I have because of my microphone. I'm pulling up here in a second. So I use something called MOTIV Mix. It comes with my Shure microphone right here. The Shure, it's the app that goes with it. I plug it in. You can kind of see my vocals like moving on this line. I have my gain here to help me with my yelling. Usually, if you want to do your screams and be really loud, you want to lower your gain a little bit. That way, you're not peaking your mic. Though the Shure is really, really good because the Shure makes it to where I don't have to worry about that too much. It's pretty good at micromanaging it. There's a whole like settings you can do to set up your microphone. Let me move it this way so you can actually see. As you can kind of see here, you can kind of set your stuff up and personalize it to make sure that it is correct for your voice. And yeah, so that's how I record. I don't use OBS. I don't use Audacity. I use MOTIV Mix, right? Really cool, really cool microphone, by the way, and a really cool app. It's really good for like doing this stuff. All right, so now we're going to get into the bread and butter of the video. Audio work. I have help doing audio, or I have help finding the right audio from one of my voice actors, Lucy. She helped me pretty much find the correct sounds for this moment where the blade is going to end up connecting to the snake's skin, and it's going to have this really cool moment where it's grinding against the snake. Audio work is really tricky, especially since every noise in anything is unique to its own like identity, and sometimes you have to overlay different noises to make the actual moment work, right? So okay, so what we're gonna do is what I'll do is I'm gonna mute this track real quickly, so you can kind of see like what the scene would look like and what it's gonna like how we piece it together, right? We're gonna do a couple tracks at a time. I'll figure it out. But anyway, even the music doesn't matter. So everything's muted, right? So without the music, the scene is just going to like look. It's not going to have any vision. So essentially, we have to rebuild this moment ourselves. Or I guess technically, I have to rebuild this moment myself with this snake getting the blade not shoved into it, but like it's grinding on the snake's skin because the snake skin's so extremely thick, right? And it brings for this cool moment. And essentially, we have a couple key things here. We have an impact, bam, but it's not a flesh impact. It's just more like a metal impact or like a dink kind of impact because he doesn't break the skin. The blade just cannot pierce it. So we have to essentially make this moment work with knowing that information. And then we have the grinding scene itself where the blade is getting obviously thrusted into the snake, but it's not piercing it. It's just kind of being an annoyance, right? While he's struggling and having a conversation with his inner mind. So, what does this all sound like? Well, when it's all together, right? So, we have I'm going to unmute the main audio. I'm going to unmute, I think this is the snake, and I think that's it right now. So we have the snake moving. We have that interesting sound for it's actually just a tree branch. That is a tree branch. I think is what I used to make that sound. It sounds pretty similar to what a snake would sound like. It works. And then we actually have my vocals on top of it. But then we have the rest of the scene to figure out with the music on top of it and like how we're gonna make it work. So I'm gonna unmute a couple extra tracks. That way you can kind of like get the idea. In fact, I'm gonna mute most of these tracks. That way we can go piece by piece. I'll keep the music muted though, because the music, that's just the extra flair. So the first point of impact is going to be roughly right here. So it's going to sound like, let me mute this, and mute this, and let me mute this. That's the sound of impact, right? It's representing the movement of the snake being quick and the impact of the sword hitting it, right? And that's before we even get to the audio word. We have to do this. If we add all the rest of it together, let me storm, cool. Okay, like actual thunderstorm. Anyway, so we have three. Oh, my bad. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different tracks to represent and rebuild this track right here. And I'm gonna go piece by piece, I think, for this one. So we'll mute mostly tracks, because that way you can kind of hear it come together, right? So we have this is a mechanical loop knife sharpening slider. That's what that is, right? But it doesn't really do the same justice on itself. We have to find a way to make it work better. So we're going to add more sounds to it to make it where it grinds better. So we're going to add a bunch more sounds. I'm going to start unmuting other tracks, so you can see it all come together. I think the only thing I'm not going to have unmuted is my voice and the movement of the snake. So now we have that little bit of like in there as well to represent the like the skin of the snake. We have a bit more grittiness to it. We have more to make the scene feel like a scene. It still feels like it's missing stuff though, because our vocals are missing out of it, the music's missing out of it. There's a lot missing out of it, so we're gonna add the vocals in that we can kind of see like the conversation that's being like happening, how the character's struggling. Because even with those sound effects, we still have to have a moment where we show the character is struggling. Even if he's talking to himself, he's still gonna have that effort in his like mind because he's struggling in that moment, right? So
My bad. I thought you were into it.
So we have him doing his thing, struggling, and he even has a short, like, brief conversation with them, and he's struggling throughout that moment. It's going to be, this is not the time for this, Gemini! Struggling, panicking, like, a bunch of emotions going through him right now. Like, he's trying to focus on this blade going in while trying to answer, like, he's trying to be like, hey, yo, can you chill a second so I can do this? Let me cook, right? Like, because he's getting sassed by his system because that's just how we wanted to write it, where the system has a voice.
My bad. I thought you were into it.
And he made a joke earlier, like, hey, he made a regurgitation joke earlier, and now this is happening. He's like, no, this is not the time. You've been giving me shit all through this whole dungeon. Like, I just need to like let me be, essentially, right? Let him focus. I can try to add the music in. And then that's where you also have to like balance the music levels to make the whole scene come together where it's everything. There's a lot going on there. He kind of gets his ass whooped for quite a while, actually. And all this has to have audio. The splash effects, the sound effects, for like the movement, the getting hit underwater. There's a lot happening in the scene, especially when like you're the one editing it. Like there's a splash effect right here, a splash effect here. He goes under the water, he's breathing, he's like drowning at the same time. So there's gonna be bubble effects where you have to like like the water effects that you would have. So the cool thing about this scene, that I'm really happy with, the way it turned out, is what I did to do this like guzzling, geez, uncensored moment, or unfiltered moment, out of context moment, geez. I actually have water, where I take up water, whatever, and I take a really big like amount of water, and I'm actually like trying to talk with it in my mouth. That way, it has that actual like practical effect to it with the struggle, because it's all practical. So what I'll do is I'll mute this, 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 this, and this, and the music. So this is gonna just be my audio, essentially. So that little there's a technique to how I did that, which I'm gonna keep a secret because it's stupid. But yeah, now there's still a bit more going on. We want to add the water. We want to make sure that there's a splash noise. We have one here. Like we have our minor splash, right? Because he does get flopped. Right, but there's still more effects happening in the scene. Like we gotta have the big splash effect, the large follow-up splash effect. We still have the other background stuff happening right here. And then we also have the underwater moment where he goes under the water. So I'm gonna mute a couple more of these tracks. That way everything is like good to go. I'll keep the music muted, but everything else should be good. So I'm missing some audio here. I'll use this as well. And then this, because I'm missing sound effects here. So he gets hit, and we have to make this whole scene work by bringing these sounds out correctly. That way it sounds like it fits. That way the scene actually, because like if you're using like cars or whatever. Like, let's say this is a not a if you're using city sounds, it's gonna like confuse everyone. It's not gonna work. You have to find the proper sounds for their home to make the scene work, even if they're not 100% accurate. As long as it looks like and sounds like, or as long as it sounds like it could work, you can make it work. So, impact, right? Really hard, heavy goof sound to make the impact because he gets hit in the gut, right? Like, and then you also have the actor go or whatever is the noise he's making to, imply that, oh crap, he just got gut checked, right? Different sounds for each type of hit depending where it is. Like that deep, like that, like something big is just in the water, and that's also horrifying. I hate snakes. Like something big just entered the water, right? So there's gonna be different levels of splash sound effects in the scene to make it work, because you're gonna have your minor splashes, your big splashes, and then like the one where you actually like your character is going under the water, right? So there's a lot of different levels of splashing here to work with the scene on top of other things on top of it, whether it's hit effects, whatever it is. And what I just do, I'm do that, right? And then of course the biggest thing coming into the water, which is the snake. A lot of noise happening here. A lot of cool noise. Silence. Well, it's not like a moment of silence, but there's a moment of like time where everything feels still or in slow motion. So it's going to just kind of like play out, and it's gonna be kind of like it's not gonna be like crashing and noise and stuff. It's just gonna be like debris falling and stuff like that, with like the characters having a moment to like have their like whatever it is they have to say to come out of their mouths, or like right before the recognition or like realization, like, oh shit, I gotta run, right? So before the train tips over and nearly kills them, right? um so yeah, so essentially that's how it works. Like whenever you're editing an abridged scene, or like just any scene in general that has to do with sound, you got to pay attention to like the atmosphere of what's on the screen to make these sounds come to life. And finding the sounds are really hard sometimes. Like finding the proper noise for a subway train that not only gets smashed into a wall, has fallen debris, and then slowly tips over and tries to crush them. It takes a lot of like work to make sure that all those sounds come together, the overlays and everything, to make it work without overdoing it. Simple's best, but like polishing it is also something that you want to do right before the music even plays. That way you can get everything coming together nicely. And then of course we have to have a joke because it's an abridged series. So I also use a mouth freeze and make sure the flaps match what I'm saying. So in this case, he's mad, right? So I'm so fucking done. I'm so and done. There's so many syllables in that, right? So you can kind of follow the audio track here to help where you know where the pause is. You can get really zoomed in, and this helps. So like he's got his moment where he says his first word, and then he takes a second, and then he continues on his conversation, or his word or his line. So I'm so fucking done, and that matches on screen, right? He's having his snapping point. There's gonna be more scenes earlier on where he's actually having a full conversation, and those scenes are a little bit more trickier to do. It's going to be a lot more like splitting, freeze framing, matching. It's a lot of work for it to flow. But whenever you do get good at it or decent at it, you're going to start noticing how well it just flows on the screen. So in this case, he's having a whole conversation with himself, well, with the system. Back and trigger level ups. And the bonus of leveling up is that all my stats go up by 1, which is cool, I guess. He's just kind of rambling on, right? So I needed the flaps to just ramble on, but also kind of like keep up with the pace of how he's speaking, which is important. How fast you talk or how like slow you talk translates to screen, so you're gonna have to adjust the flaps to make sure that they flow with how your mouth works. And yeah, that's essentially everything. That covers sound effects. That covers the vocal part of it from the voice actors. That counters that kind of shows the sound effects, the music, everything. That's pretty much everything, except for like the script. The script is something you're just have to write and figure it out. I can't really teach people how to script. I just kind of do it my own way. Essentially, when I sit down and do scripting, first I have to have the actual show in front of me. unmuted. That way I can kind of get the idea of what they're talking about and see if I want to stick with what they're talking about or if I want to completely change it. It kind of varies. A bridge series or a parody of what the show is. So having the context of what's actually going on sometimes is quite helpful. That way you can actually still build your story around it. Even if you change like what's happening, you can still have that as a fallback if you need to build up your story, because it's still storytelling at the end of the day. You still want to follow the story if you can. That way it makes sense, right? That's why we have this moment where he's sitting here and kind of talking to the system about what's going on. We wanted to make sure that we still have that context and lore moving forward, so those who haven't seen the show understand, like, oh, there's a system, he's leveling up, he's getting stats, he's healing. Like, this is all a part of like his power, right? So that's kind of like how that breaks into it. Having the context of the actual show is always a good thing. But there you guys go. That's essentially everything. I think hopefully it lets me use a lot of this stuff. Once again, breaking down each sound effect is gonna, like, it takes forever. Each sound has its unique identity. Finding your own sounds is just something you're gonna have to do. You can get really innovative with it too. Some sounds that I have done in the past have been practical, because this microphone is really good. It can pick up practical noises, and I can use my microphone to pick up noises of certain types. If I really need to, I can just, whatever it is, like water, bangings, depending on the bang, like taps, clothing. Like, I can manually do that on myself if I have to. So yeah. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, if you want to watch the episode, be sure to visit Rumble and check it out. Thanks. Peace.